Welcome back to a new video. So this was my Monday and Tuesday session. Tuesday ended up not really wanting to do a lot. I kind of procrastinated a while to go outside, which to me is one of those kind of mental indicators that I'm not like primed for like a long session or a difficult one. But speaking more of the Monday one, did the pause lifts like I did last week, and honestly they went well for the most part. So I was able to get up to 115. I missed 110 the first time I did it, then made it the second time, and then was able to, like I said, go up to 115. So I was happy with how that felt. I was happy with the position I got back behind my head and just where I caught and everything. And then for clean and jerks, I did pause clean, and then I tried to catch in the split or hold in the split for the clean and jerks. And I was able to kind of even with the 150, which as far as like a pause clean and jerk, 150 is probably the most I've ever done. I've definitely done a pause clean with more, I believe 155. So it makes me think that I perhaps have done a normal clean and jerk, but I mean with the pause clean and the hold and the split, probably the most I've ever done. But catching the 150, I caught it well enough. I did the jerk well enough, and really when I'm looking at the jerks that I do on video, I'm noticing that kind of my upper body is collapsing forward a little bit, which of course is going to push the bar forward a little bit. And one of the indicators of that is the elbows dropping a little bit. So I'm trying to not necessarily force my elbows up, because that doesn't necessarily make my upper torso more rigid, but I'm thinking more of tightening my just upper back, essentially like I would be doing on a deadlift, and trying to keep my elbows up that way. So still trying to think about the elbows, but the elbows for me, are like the level of the elbows, are more of an indicator of that rigidity and of the up and down nature of the jerk. And so they were feeling pretty good. Right knee was it's been kind of weird, it's not really limiting me. Obviously I'm still like lifting well in these days, but it is kind of achy. So it is the new pain that I'm experiencing, I suppose, but it's not really limiting me in anything. I'm still able to do jerks. I'm still able to do snatch and stuff. I just kind of feel it. And sometimes if it gets a little worse, then like a jerk might not feel very good. But that's usually kind of correlates to me not feeling, just not recovered overall. So it's kind of, when you're sore and achy, and if you're not fully recovered or you're not in like a good recovery state, all of those extra aches and pains will be just a little bit more extreme. But here's the 140 I was quite happy with. So I was able to catch, do a little bit of a hold in the split. I'm not doing anything extreme with that, but just trying to stabilize it for, a half second or whatever, and then do it. You see here on the first clean I did, it was a really difficult clean. I kind of jumped forward, which is something I used to do on all my lifts. It's just kind of interesting whenever that manifests in my lift. It just means that I'm extending a bit early, and it's something because of my strength that I can kind of get away with the clean. But obviously, when it becomes too much of a problem, it makes the clean difficult, which then in turn makes the jerk difficult. But I was, you see there, it was difficult. Kind of had to get it back behind my head a little bit, but I was able to, hold it with mostly the leg position is what I was happy about. Obviously, it was still a little bit forward, but for the percentage lift that it was, I'm certainly happy with. And then kind of messed around with the different kinds of pulls. So I did a pause pull with 110 there with 140, and then did a normal kind of snatch deadlift type thing here with 170. Then went up to 200 for just a more just normal snatch grip deadlift, and then jumped up to 230. I don't know if this will actually show. Oh no. So I actually missed the first attempt. I felt like I started to pull it, and it felt like it was uneven, like I had forgotten to put a weight on one of the sides. But I just stopped because I started to pull it, and I was like, that feels weird, so I just stopped, which is a good rule of thumb if you're doing a deadlift or something. Like, just don't fight through a lift that feels odd, especially if it feels uneven, because there's a chance that there's too much weight on one side or something. But came back, refocused, and just was able to do it for a double, which it probably is the most I've done in that movement, because I feel like 245 is the most I've done for a single. But I could have also have done it in the past at some point for a double. I don't really keep track of pulls, snatch grip deadlift rep BRs for doubles like that, but 230 for a double certainly felt really heavy. So and then this was a session I had today. I decided to try to start with front squats because I knew I wanted to do some today, and the knee wasn't really bothering me or anything, but I have jumped from 120 to 170 in the front squat before, but I didn't mean to on this session, which is probably a reason why the session didn't go as well, or I didn't do as much, or didn't feel like it. My mental acuity wasn't there because I had done 120, and I was like, I didn't really feel that good. I was like, at least I'm going to do 150. That will feel fine. and I loaded 170 on. I was getting ready to do it. I was like, well, it's already there, so I'm going to do it. And honestly, I almost passed out when I did 170. I had it too deep in my carotid artery or whatever. But I was definitely very woozy, but it wasn't difficult enough, or I wasn't like actually going to pass out. So I still was able to get it up, but I was certainly not feeling it with that. But I figured that it was just because of the big jump, and the weight moved okay, especially considering like how woozy I felt really the whole lift. So I gave 185 a try. It bounced out of the bottom okay, but it just was so far forward that it just wasn't going to be there. So then decided to kind of change the session from all the snatch grip push press and the jerks and all of that to just doing some overhead press, which doing 90 for a triple is pretty up there. I feel like I may have done it for 4 before, because I feel like I've tried to do it for a set of 5. But doing it for a triple with how especially easy the first rep was, I'm certainly happy with that. And it's just kind of in the state that I was in this day, certainly happy to do that for a triple. And then did some rows, which I haven't done in a while. So just did some of those. Did it without straps, just, normal grip with that to add, I don't know, just a little bit of grip work, I suppose. But it wasn't anything that was too heavy. So just did a couple sets of that. But overall, pretty happy with the, first 2 days of the week. Tomorrow will be interesting to see how I feel as far as, recoverability and stuff. And, just how I get after it. But my steps have gone up tremendously since the school year started. The first couple of days, really the first week, I was between like 8,000 and 9,000, and now at least the last 2 days I've been at 11, and I feel like I'm not even really like intentionally moving a lot more, but I am getting more steps in, and I have been on my break time. So we have 9 scheduled classes, or 9 slots where there could be a class, and on any particular day at most we'll have 8. So there's 1 slot depending on what day that's empty, and it's not a consistent time because we're planned in the morning, but just because of the number of classes. On 2 of the days, or a couple of the days at least, there are 2 slots that we don't have. So then we have 7 out of the 9 potential slots filled. None of the days are 9 out of 9, which is nice. I don't think, off the top of my head, we've gone through it, and I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I think the most difficult one is we have the first slot empty, and then the rest of the day is filled. But I don't think there's any that are 9 for 9, which would be quite a lot just in one day. But whatchamacallit. But during my breaks, I've been just walking around the school because it's been so nice out, and a lot of the times I have off are in the morning, or at least like mid-morning, where it's still like pretty cool out. And it's been not too hot lately. So I suppose that's been adding to the steps a little bit. And then the Bendy, which is the school dog, I've been walking around a little bit too on some of those times. So I'm pretty active for most of the day. Obviously, if I'm getting 11,000 steps in the summer, if I probably had my watch on, I was probably getting half of that most of the time, unless I had a day where I was doing yard work and stuff. But I have to account for that, and just know that I'm going to have days where I'm just kind of not as recovered as I would like to be, as I would obviously be in the summer and stuff, since I'm expending a lot more energy. But also means I'm eating a lot more food, or trying to account for that, because I know I'm burning a exponentially more energy than I did in the summer when that amount of movement is up. Not to even accounting, if you think about the, not even like stress, but like I would imagine that I'm not just like walking on a treadmill, like I'm walking around and teaching, which is probably not exponentially more calories than a treadmill, but certainly more than just walking and watching a YouTube video. So just the doing that. But I feel like I've said exponentially an exponential amount of times in the video, but my brain is fried, so I need to go to bed, make sure I get enough sleep. But that's going to be it for this one. You made it to this point into my rant at the end. Not even a rant, right? Just random thoughts that I threw on the end of these. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate the kind comments and stuff, and all of that. It really makes these videos worth making and worth continuing to do. So I appreciate that. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all in the next one. I hope you have a great day. Peace.